Welcome to ROKStudios Asia Pacific. My name is Adam Page. I'm the Director of Technology Partnerships at Rockwell. Here today with Ross Delacour, APJC IoT Route to Market Leader for Cisco. Today we'll be talking a little bit more about our partnership and the connected and secure industrial operations and how we're going to market together in our partnership. So thanks, Ross, for being here.
Fantastic. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right. Let's jump into it. IT, OT convergence, it's the hot topic. It's really why we're in a partnership and what we do together. So as you look at what is the connected enterprise and digital transformation, what are you seeing from customers in Asia Pacific around IT, OT convergence?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the question. It's so we're seeing a lot around IT, OT convergence. I think everyone knows that digital transformation can't happen without IT, OT convergence. Through our executive briefing center in the last 3 months, whether it be virtually or through our physically in San Jose, we've seen IT and OT in the room at every meeting. Right? And I think that's certainly been a change. Great to see, because there's 3 key themes that are coming through in those meetings. The first one is complexity. There's lots of complexity coming out of how are they going to address digital transformation. Complexity of the existing processes and the architecture that exist. And I'd probably say the complexity of business as usual. So there's lots of complexity, lots of specific use cases that are coming out. Second one is around cybersecurity. Now, absolutely a necessity. It's in every conversation. And the question is how are teams going to address cybersecurity? And we'll probably talk about that today.
Yep.
And the third one is around lack of resources, right? Both in the customer to address digital transformation, as well as in the partner ecosystem. And I think that's something that Rockwell and Cisco can work together to help address in the marketplace.
Yeah, and I'd say our partnership, and when we think about an IT, OT, match made in heaven, Cisco with a strong backbone in IT, Rockwell heavily in OT. It's really where we come together to address those needs, and IT, OT convergence on how do we jointly support our customers and our customers global. How do we make that happen? And that's really the foundation of why we're here today.
Absolutely agree.
Great.
Absolutely.
You brought up cybersecurity, so
yeah, I did.
So tell me a little bit about what you're seeing from an overall cybersecurity snapshot, as well as on the OT level, how Rockwell and Cisco are partnering to address those challenges.
Lots of conversation around cybersecurity. These industries need to connect their physical assets to the internet to enable them to get to, extract data out of them, manage them better, et cetera, et cetera. So there's lots of conversations. The number one thing that probably comes up first and foremost is around visibility. How do they actually get visibility of what assets are actually connected in their environment today? Many teams, have legacy assets, stranded assets that are connected. Teams have moved on. Why are they connected? Can we touch them, et cetera, et cetera. So getting visibility as a first and foremost is absolutely key. The second piece is then, once we have visibility, how do we start to address these concerns of the threat landscape of what those assets are exposed to? I would say, first and foremost, we're saying to customers, look at the architecture. Don't take it can be easy if you look at this as maybe a siloed fashion, is look at a point solution to address that. How do I maybe quickly connect those assets and try to protect them? But then how does that map into a broader strategy for security? Again, we talk about IT, OT convergence. Very relevant for an organisation to have an overarching cybersecurity policy and posture. And to do that, IT needs to be in the room. There's lots of cyber assets that are protected on IT side, but then how do we extend that into the OT environment and actually make it something that can be, an OT department can extract value out of it.
Which hasn't been a common thing for companies to really look at. How do we go from the OT level, use what's on the IT side and maximize the value of both. So again, one of the pivotal pieces of our partnership on where we really bring these things together, with Rockwell focusing on cyber at the OT level, really supporting what is that conversation with the customer so they understand how to bring that together.
Absolutely, and they're really rich conversations to have. The OT world and Rockwell's stance in that is, I think you're very well poised to be able to help customers go on that journey and have this conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's switch gears, advanced networking. A lot of our relationship historically has been around networking and the components on networking.
Yeah.
Tell me what's the hot topic right now and what's coming up that we should be looking at from Rockwell's perspective and how Cisco's seeing advanced networking in the field.
Yeah, so I suppose if you look at what we had standardized networking. It was really around connectivity and communication, right? And that was good, I think, in an OT world back then. But now, as we're starting to open up these assets, extract data out of these assets, it really is the need for the network to deliver additional value to the overall OT environment. So scalability is a very big one. How do we expand the network for IoT devices that are coming in, the explosion of these devices at the industrial edge? That's something that advanced networking can handle. Management of that platform. Right? Once we connect all these other devices, how do we actually manage these easily and provide efficiency with that management? One of the, I suppose, legacy issues that was around configuration management.
Yep.
How did we standardize that and ensure that there wasn't manual error at the edge? And that's been sorted with advanced networking. Security inbuilt, the ability to actually do micro-segmentation, and again, how does that map into the overall security posture for an organisation? And we're moving to a point where it's software defined, right? And so we can actually set a policy and a framework and actually deploy that throughout all of our assets. And
I think that's a good pivot to really talk about what is the future of our partnership. So looking at those areas of security, software defined, the advanced networking, advanced wireless, all these new things that really historically we've been focused on. How do we just address networking? What do you see as the next evolution of Rockwell Cisco bringing value to the market?
Yeah, absolutely. The world's our oyster. Really, I think coming from Rockwell's position in OT, Cisco's position in IT, the world needs us to work together, and these critical industries need us to work together. And that's, I love the fact that that's the intent of both of our organisations. We're seeing over the horizon that we need to help these critical industries transform. We're very well placed to do it, and one of the I think the amazing things that both of our organisations can do is actually work with the talent that sits in OT today. Right? That's a generation of people that are looking to how do they transition, how do they be relevant and help their organisations go into this next wave of industrial connectivity and value that these industries are going to provide. And I think between our two organisations we can actually really help that next generation of talent to transition, attract that talent into these industries. And I know we talked about that this week. It's been a really interesting thing that I think we can help each other with.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the upward trends and the areas of opportunity where we work together are really exciting. I mean, it's a whole new landscape for how do we partner and how do we deliver value to the customers globally. So,
absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you for joining today. I think this was a great conversation. Thank you all for joining, and for more information, visit rockwellautomation.com.